This is the X&C Podcast, your Xbox newscast, featuring Colteastwood and Mag, hosting industry interviews and gaming talk live on YouTube every Monday night at 5 p.m. on the West Coast, 8 p.m. on the East Coast. For all of you listening around the world, X&C Podcast is available on demand on Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. Welcome to the show. Join the chat, hit the like button, and let's get into this week's topics with the Xbox newscast. Welcome to X&C. Let's just lay back, Mag. Let's just enjoy it. We're a little bit early.
All right. We're a little bit early.
We're half an hour early. We appreciate you guys for being here. Let me make sure that you're everything. I didn't even check. Say hi, Mag. Say hi to everybody.
Hi, Mag.
There.
Say hi to everybody.
There's Mag. Welcome to the X&C
Top
Podcast.
Gamer, what's up? Yeah. Sorry, I just said, what's up, Mag? Yeah, I'm gonna pop out the chat here so I can see all the love and all the hate from Riskit in a separate screen over here. There it is. Oh, wonderful.
Yeah,
Hi, everybody. How's everybody doing? Everybody excited to talk about gaming? We got some stuff to talk about today, brother.
Yeah, stuff broke, like an exclusive piece of news. I worked on a big video that ties right into Jez Corden's report. I worked on Saturday, and I was like, should I hold this to Monday? And I thought, no, I'll put it out on Sunday. So yesterday I have that video. The thumbnail is kind of similar to this one, kind of built it based off the same thing. Why am I early? Because my son has a band concert tonight, and we're all going to attend, and it would be right when we end the show. So I thought, hey, let's just do the show a little bit early. It might even be a shorter show, but we're going to talk about the new Xbox console, PC hybrid, the handheld, the partnered handheld, and all that stuff. We're going to get into that. But first, I haven't talked to Mag. Like, he showed up right when we're ready to go. What have you been up to? You said you were out of town. What's going on?
I was
with
out of town. So I literally was out of town for a couple days, way up north, and I showed up just before basically showtime. So I basically came down, and then Colt messaged me and says, well, we got to go early. And I'm like, oh crap. So I got in, I unpacked everything, got everything set up or whatever. I had all my stuff unplugged in this room here because I have 3 massive power bars that do all my my flood lighting for the show, the other ambient lighting, all the arcade machines. I had everything there. So I'm plugging all my PC, the monitors, everything for the show. And I'm replugging everything back in, and everything's rebooting from scratch. I'm like, oh my God. But anyways, yeah. And of course, while I was away, and I'm sitting out there and out in the back, staring at the lake and having a cigar and a beer, and I'm just watching news unfold that, I don't know, we broke a month ago, but what do I know? And then everybody's like, breaking news, and I'm like, no, it's not. You guys just don't listen. Not you guys, not this chat, the outside world. And I actually said that to somebody on Twitter today, and I'm like, actually, all of us, all of these people in our chat and listen to the show, they're all part of that inner circle. I'm like, everybody in this inner circle knew, because even 3 weeks ago, I said, remember I said on 3 weeks ago on this very show, guys and gals, that the PlayStation 6 will not be using PSSR. And you're like, oh, really? What they got? I'm like, they found a new solution while they were experimenting with something else. And they said, oh, you know what? We're going to drop this and move it there. It was right here on this very show. I said it.
That's nuts.
And then all of a sudden, remember that?
Yeah.
3 weeks ago, if anybody in the chat remembers. And I got to tell you this. All of a sudden, you fast forward to 2 weeks and 6 days, and I see breaking news. Randall Snore says...
We're in the traffic copper.
Hi, Rand. How you doing, buddy?
Randall Snore.
So, yeah. And then we also talked about the handheld, which was supposed to be 2026, but now we're hearing other things and whatever else. But like I said, I was away, and I just had my cell phone with me, so I wasn't able to jump on the, in front of the camera and do one of my videos. By the way, thank you everybody that went to check out my last video about Gears of War collection, which we broke first for Special Nick.
No, we didn't. Did we? There's no way.
Did. Yes, we did, and I got major crap for it. Special Nick was right there, though. I'm telling you, it was a photo finish. I hope he's in the chat tonight.
I feel like, well, I don't remember what I've said on this show, but my memory is that I heard about it because Nick was talking about it on his shows, but I don't remember when we talked about it here. But
Nick
whatever.
Is a known liar, and
so am I.
He's possibly a convicted felon that escaped custody. So if anybody sees Special Nick on the street, do not approach. Just call local authorities, and he will be tased appropriately, preferably on camera, so we can all watch it on replay over and over. Thank you, Special Nick. And also, Where's Riskit for the biscuit? I didn't see him last week.
Yeah, I didn't. I've missed him. Joshua Gladden in the chat says, I'm sure Riskit started one. It would be an Equator War. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I want to bring up something
Sure.
before we get the show rolling, because you were talking about the liars, and I woke up this morning to like one of those little mini hate campaign witch hunts over myself, Red Wolf, and Fonz on the podcast. Like they jumped in after you had to leave early, and we were talking about
that night.
We were talking about the Xbox business update was coming in a month, and we were speculating what was happening. And this one guy called me the most toxic gaming content creator on the planet. And it was a clip of me saying, I just got a text from somebody who knows that everything's going to be not as bad as we think it's going to be. That's kind of what I said. And I made the surprise face, right?
Oh, yeah. And someone, you know what the funny thing is? I had to actually debunk a bunch of people on Twitter. They're saying, actually, it was Mag who called him and was just, I won't say what he said. And I'm like, no, it wasn't me. He was just joking. But I'm like, it wasn't me. It wasn't me.
They caught me in the shower.
Yeah, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. It was the one-armed man. No, it was. I'm like, I swear it wasn't me. I'm like, I had to leave that show, and then something happened.
I've said who. Yeah, I said who it was. It wasn't Mag. I said it before, and if you were keen to listening around, I just the reason why I didn't say is because it kind of just outs that person.
Right.
This person talked to somebody really super, super important and said, hey, it's not as bad as you think it's going to be. And then a month later, Phil sat there and said, it's just 4 games. It's not more than that. It's not a signal what's to come. And we were like, oh, okay. And then I was talking to another friend today about that. And he goes, you have the timeline wrong. It wasn't like a couple months later that Phil said no red lines. He said it like close to the fall. It would be like February. He's like, it's just 4 games. And then it was like October, November. He's like, there's no red lines. So that was over the course of 6 months where, because like Paris Lilly got called out, Destin Legary, myself, and a bunch of other content creators who were like, they're not putting everything on PlayStation because that was the information. But of course, we've talked about that. You know how many
followers? And this was before I launched the channel. And you know how many followers I lost over that telling the truth? It was remarkable. I'm like, guys, just be patient. I go, it's not happening tomorrow, whatever else. I'm like, but this stuff is happening, whatever. And I lost tons of people and people I actually considered friends, and they just whatever. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I got to ask somebody a question here. Someone said, "What's up?" to me in the chat, and it's gonna drive me insane because my OCD. I have to understand how to say this name. It's IXON Storm. So is it Ion Storm or is it Ixon Storm or what is it? Because my OCD cannot handle how to pronounce the name, and I won't be able to sleep tonight unless I know how to pronounce it.
Yeah, I'm looking as well.
Dude, I know you listen. I know you're listening. I know you're listening out there. So you got to find out. You got to tell me what's going on.
Yeah, we'll watch tell me how to pronounce that for that. Yeah.
Spell it out phonetically.
Yeah. I know. I look at it and I say I see Ion Storm to me as well.
That's what I thought too, but I saw an X and I'm like, wait.
But it could be a Z, an Izon Storm.
I'm like, yeah,
what
is happening right now? Yeah. Like I'm getting anxiety from it. I'm like, I need to know how to say this name.
So
it's not something simple like Brandon B. Yeah, sorry, go on.
Or Ammon Lunsford. What a cool name. What a cool name. Yeah, anyway, but we appreciate everybody in the chat. We got Destructo, Matt G. We've got Yodana Kizado, who's holding down the fort, as well as Happy Bomb, Joshua Gladden, channel member, Hargeet Chani, who Zion Storm said Hargeet Chani was amazing on Games Talk Live on Saturday. I watched that as well. Hargeet Chani's been through a lot of stuff, but he came back, jumped right in front of the mic, and just did what he does. And they talked gaming stuff, and that's why people love Hargeet. But we appreciate everybody. We thank you for all your supers and everything. We'll get to those. I've been super busy playing Assassin's Creed Shadows. They said the game is 80 hours to do everything, so I can't say anything, but I'm just like, really, how do I say this? Things have taken a turn for me as a content creator, Mag, where I used to cover the occasional game, or I once in a while I get an Xbox game, but now I've got Ubisoft, I've got Sega, and I just want to express my gratitude that these companies have charged me with playing these games early and to review them. And I find myself entering into another level of really super gratefulness that I get to play stuff early, even though it pains me that when I talk to my friends, I'm like, I want to be playing this with you guys, like alongside you. And right. But I am really super grateful for that. And so far, reviewing games has been just such playing these games has been amazing. So yeah, I mean, that's all I got to say. What have you been playing? Because you've been really busy.
Well, I mean, I've been really busy with work, and I've been away. I think last week I played a total of like 45 minutes of gaming, and I downloaded finally right before I left for the weekend, or went out of town. I downloaded Split Fiction, and I'm ready to rock. So tomorrow, and obviously, tonight is XNC. I barely got to the show on time from being out of town, and I'm here now. But tomorrow, I'm going to start streaming Split Fiction. And the thing is, I was having a little bit of an issue with the friend pass with my son. It was something else. I told him to uninstall, and there's some issues. And it's like, oh, the EA servers aren't working. But then my daughter downloaded it, and it was fine. And then I'm like, okay. So I told him, I said, uninstall it, reinstall it. But I thought of something fun. And I'm like, listen, if you can't do it and it's causing you problems, sit next to me and we'll play couch co-op with both of us on the camera, sitting next to each other. And I'm like, that'll be fun. So we might do that.
Oh, so yeah, that would be cool for the stream. That'd be better.
So it'll be him and I sitting next to each other, and we will play. If the online thing is, for whatever reason, the friend pass thing is acting up, then we're gonna sit next to each other and we'll just play it together right here on the screen. That'll be a lot of fun. Channel's doing good. Got more subs in there, slowly creeping towards 1,500 subs to 2,000, whatever you want to call it. Last video, my Gears of War video, is at 1.4 thousand
Dang,
views.
Bro.
So they're climbing. The videos are climbing. Things are on the up and up. And I'm trying to keep it honest and being real out there. And I'm not gonna lie to anybody. I'm saying, listen, man, this is what's happening. I'm not gonna put headlines like PlayStation is doomed, Xbox is doomed. DEI killed my parents and burned my house down and all this. I'm like, listen, man, we're just gonna talk games. We're gonna have fun doing it. I only had one rant, and that was about Call of Duty because Activision are scumbags. I don't care what anybody says.
I don't love them. Anyway.
I hope you're listening. I hope you're listening.
They are.
Yeah, hey, $100 for Ninja Turtles.
Bobby Kotick's in the chat right now. Hey, what's up, Bobby?
Call me. And I saw people this week were talking on about the Activision deal, and they're like, how is it we only got 3 games since they closed the deal, or however many games it's been? And
Destin Gary got a lot of heat as well.
Oh, it was Destin. That's what it was. Yeah, Destin got a lot of heat from it. He's like, it was, and we're not gonna get into that. I like.
Well, I think we kind of covered it last week because I covered why aren't the games coming to Game Pass? Then Destin put out what have they done for us lately, and a lot of people took exception to that. But it's like,
right?
I guess they weren't there
to cover that.
Yeah, we did cover it.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it kind of exploded over the last 2 days. Because that whole I think there was a video out there, and then I think there was something on Twitter about it, and like I said, I saw it all in passing because I wasn't in my home base, so I wasn't as connected to everything. You know what I mean? Like what was going on. I was catching news, but yeah. Anyways, we know what you've been playing.
Yeah, just that, and I have Split Fiction downloaded. My son and I will play it on the couch together. That's the way we played It Takes Two, but I don't know when I'm going to get to that. I am leaving tomorrow afternoon on a short trip to preview an upcoming game, so it's going to be busy. So I don't know. I'll probably just have one video out at the end of the week about the Gaming Weekly News thing because I've already covered what we're going to talk about today with the Xbox console PC hybrid, the handheld, the partnered handheld. There's oh my gosh, the cat. Am I seeing this in real time? Yes, pretty much.
No, yeah, you're seeing it in real time.
Yeah, sorry. I'm
going to look over to the chat, and then the chat's going to be like, "What the hell is that thing?" Yeah,
it's amazing. Well, what's it? It's a he, right? What's his name? Or she?
Oh, that's Gizmo. That's Gizmo.
Okay.
Yeah, the other one is Luna. That's a girl. Yeah, I have 2 blue Sphinx cats.
One of my mods just messaged me and said he's holding the cat, but I get it 10 seconds after.
No, the cat jumped up, and the cat jumped up. I actually, when someone watches the replay, the cat went right up to the mic while you were talking, and all you hear is.
Oh, I love that
because he was purring. That was so hilarious, and I'm like, okay, get you out of here.
I didn't grow up with cats, and I was staying the night at my friend's house way back in the 80s, and at 2 a.m, I'd hear. And I'd wake up and his cat's laying right by my face and crapped in the Legos box, and I'm like, oh,
yeah.
Oh. Maritime Mafia says, sorry, I'm late. What did I miss? With the contraband news, somebody actually tweeted at me, if that's a word, and so we didn't hear anything about contraband, but I don't think there's anything that's
no,
that's
you know,
broken.
some people have actually like reached out to me recently, and they're like, "Dude, you had all this, you had the inside lane on contraband. What happened?" And I'm like, "It's still coming, but like it literally dropped off the face of the earth, and I can't get any info about it." And it's so funny because I had people who played it. I saw actual footage of gameplay and screenshots and everything else, and I didn't share that with anybody because I didn't want to get people in trouble or whatever, or myself in trouble. And so I saw that stuff, and then it just went right off the end of a cliff, and we're like, where did it go? Like no one's talking about it. There's no updates. There's no like developer or whatever you want to call it, where they're standing on a sandy beach going, "Hi, we're still working on it." Like there was nothing, and it's just been radio silence, which in a way is kind of good. And the reason why is because I'd rather people just not talk and just do the work. Fine, do the work and work hard, do a great job, and then when you're ready, show us what's going on, because we got so many other distractions taking us into like the rest of this year and the next year. There's lots of games everywhere to play. You know what I mean? Especially if you're a multi-console owner or PC owner or whatever you want to do, there's lots going on. We don't need to know everything that's happening in 3 years. We're fine. We got a lot of stuff now. That's like asking for food. That's like asking for food when your plate's full.
I do that.
I mean?
I tend to do that.
No,
hey, I got to do it. I got to do a shout out here.
Yeah. Josh Duckwall, you're asking my channel name. Take a look in the description below.
Is it updated? Sorry, when I set up for the
it's in the description.
It is. Is it in there?
It should be. I don't know. I don't go to your channel. I don't watch your videos.
It's on my default settings when we have the partners or the sponsor, which we're not doing today. So I need to add it in there. I forgot. I got to do a shout out to Red Wolf. He's not watching today, but hold on. I got to go to the feed so I can get this up here. He sent me this.
Whoa, cool.
Turn it this way. Yeah. He sent me this to put in my game room. It's Garrus Vakarian of Mass Effect. And he also sent me a steelbook for Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Oh, that's lovely.
And look at the back. You ready for this?
Yeah, I want to see it. Oh, that's also lovely.
Yeah.
Imagine the physical fortitude required to stand on your tippy toe on the top of a building like that. And not fall off the side.
With the shoes that just have 2 toes on them, even. Yeah.
Dude, I fail sobriety tests when I'm sober. So, like, can you imagine standing on the top of a building with your tippy toe?
Oh my god!
Ready to assassinate some some shogun that's like 30 feet below me.
I can't imagine it. I'm going to add. Happy Bomb just put your link to your channel in there.
And Yodani did the same. Thank you, guys.
Awesome. I am going to edit it in real time in the right here. There we go. So it should actually automatically update. We'll see. Oh my gosh, I'm looking at me leaning back there. I look awful. Never bend over in front of a camera again. Please, never.
No, you look fine. I mean, things could be worse. You could look like Risket for the Biscuit. He looks terrible on a great day. So don't worry about it. Always
glad I didn't give you guys Krakatoa east of Java when I bent over. That would have been great.
Jesus, yeah, I know, fantastic. I mean, we got a plumber in the house, folks. Listen. Risket for the Biscuit is the lowest bar, and then right above him by like a 1/4 of an inch is Special Nick, and then there's Randall Thor, and then there's like a huge gap to like the echelon of excellence, which of course is you and me. And
what about Gaz? How far does he fall down on that list of absolute scumbags?
No. He's not even on the list. He's unlisted now. So he's beyond redemption. So
he put out a really cool Grand Theft Auto video today. So check that out if you want to hear. Yeah,
I was traveling, so I didn't see it. But
yeah,
we talked on the weekend. So
a lot of little details of that game. We do have topics. I thought I would kind of break the ice with this real quick. Stop me if we talked about this before, but doesn't it seem like now an 80 out of 100 or an 8 out of 10 is now considered mid by the large part of the gaming community? Are you seeing this, Meg?
I think it depends on who. Yeah, no, you're right. No, I'm just not even gonna bother trying to explain it. You're not wrong. Anywhere that sits between a 79 and 81 is considered mid.
Mhm.
I would consider mid 60 to 70. And even then, it's up to personal preference in the end of the day because everybody feels a certain way, right? Like we've talked about this before. You can go back
We
and look
have.
at some of the greatest movies in cinema history, The Godfather, right? And then you can have 100 people see it, 90 people say, "Wow, that was an incredible film," and then 10 people can say, "I hated it." Right. So, I mean, there's always a little bit of whatever in there. There's cult classics for a reason, and that goes for video games and whatever else out there, right? There are cult classic video games that are rated poorly, but people love them. AKA, and I'll say it again because I absolutely adored the game. It was in my top 5 games of the last generation. Days effing Gone.
Yeah.
Days Gone was like a below 60 because of all the technical issues or whatever else.
What was it?
But once they
68, and I feel like it's more
Something
like
like
a 78 or an 80 something.
To me, it's like a mid 80s now because they fixed it and whatever else. And
I gotta fit this in before I forget. But
Crackdown 3?
People don't like it when we say it, but Crackdown 3 is a 60. I gave it a 78. Like it's a 7 something. It's so fun.
It was fun. It was fun. It was not supposed to be highbrow theater. It was just
it's just a game.
Cars.
You know what? You ready for this?
Hold on a second. Yeah.
Our favorite from a couple years ago, Dead Island 2.
Uh-oh.
Remember how great that was? That was a good game,
Dead
right?
Island 2.
Loved it. It's a 73.
Are you kidding me? What? That's terrible. Oh no, Special Nick is here. He must have heard everything I said.
Yeah, Special Nick said.
Damn it.
He said no. The 80 out of a 90 is crap if it's Xbox, and I do think there's a couple of points out of 100.
Special Nick
on the tax.
Swear in the chat, but nobody else is allowed to. It says held for review. Oh, maybe because he's a mod, because he reviews himself.
He has to. What, Nick? What would you give yourself out of 10? Let's see the review score. Yeah.
Listen, man, it's all up to personal preference. However, there are games that are just irredeemable, obviously, right? Like, you're going to get to a game that's like, this is unplayable. This is horrible. This
Ride
is
to Hell Retribution.
I'm fighting the camera. I'm doing this. There are too many bugs. I can't even launch the damn game. It constantly crashes, whatever. There are games that are irredeemable. I understand that. But everything else in between, there's like a big middle ground of, personal preference, right? And that's where things get a little bit, a little bit gray area but it's going to be hard. Like, for example, I'm going to bring up an example here. Look at what just got rated. What's it called? Avowed.
Yeah.
What was it, like a 79 or 80, somewhere around there? Right? It may not be for everybody, let's say, because I see both sides of the fence. With people like, this is the greatest game. There's other people saying, well, it's not their best work or whatever, but it's not bad. I actually find very few people saying it's bad, but people have differing opinions. And then you look at Split Fiction drops with like a 91 or something like that or whatever, and then now you look at that, and at the end of the year, you're going to see, especially like the Game Awards, for example, you're going to see generally the highest scored games are the one that's going to be in the nominations for Game of the Year. Not always. There's always one that squeaks in there, but like generally it's something where between 88 and 91, 92, somewhere around there. And then because of things like that, what ends up happening is then they go, well, Avowed wasn't nominated, therefore it wasn't good, or it wasn't well received, or whatever people want to say,
or it's an 81 or 82 out of 100, and it only saw
and that's why
17,000 people on Steam. Therefore, it's a mid game. Yeah,
right. So you see what I'm getting at. So what ends up happening is a narrative is created that actually wasn't there. And so it becomes like a fabricated narrative. I'm like, well, actually, if you look at it, even the people who don't like Xbox saying, actually, you know what? Avowed is a pretty good game. I saw a lot of guys who don't like Xbox, and that's fine. You could look at love or hate, whatever you want. And they would play it on PC, and they're like, you know what? This game's pretty good. It's pretty good. I'm enjoying the game. Yeah.
Speaking of pretty good, shout out to Titan Drago in the chat.
Oh,
a long time friend and hilarious dude.
God.
Do you have history of Titan Drago? You want to fight about it?
Do I have history with Titan Drago? I did 3 years with him on Gaming After Dark. It was myself, Nuke, and Nuke. It was myself, Noof, and Titan.
I bet you wanted to nuke yourself.
Oh, 3 years.
3 of the biggest
misery.
crackheads on a podcast like that you've ever. Yeah, I'm sure it was amazing.
Nuke
I missed some
was
of
wonderful. It. Titan Drago, just like every week I lost another piece of my soul talking to him. But we have a special announcement coming up very soon, actually, and we will talk. You'll hear more about that in the near future about a special one-time event which will be happening. So very excited to talk about it, but I'm not at liberty to talk about it just yet. So we'll get into that later.
I want to take a second not a lot of people know this, but in 2018 in spring when Sea of Thieves came out, I was playing the beta right before the game launched with Titan Drago, Darth Vicious, and Dealer Gaming, and I had a massive back hernia. I thought I'd been hit by a truck, and I didn't do anything. I thought my life was over, and we were playing the game because I was kind of stuck on the couch, sitting on my side, kind of thing. And Titan cheered me up so much, and we were laughing. And I may have told this story like a couple years ago, but we were drinking on the boat, and he got really drunk, and he's like, I'm gonna get into the cannon right before I barf. And so it's just his face is sticking out, his chubby Sea of Thieves guy's face, and we waited and we're watching, and he goes, "Bleh," and he barfed. We laughed so hard, I about gave myself another back hernia. It was amazing. And then there was this moment, I'll end the story here. There's this moment where we were out at night and the Aurora Borealis is out, and we were all playing the music things together, and I was like on the squeeze box thing, and it was playing like that, like sad, lonely, like, and I like started to tear up. I'm like, thank goodness for good friends and gaming time, man. Cause it was, that moment, man, I'll never forget. That's so great, man. I love
all
that
joking
stuff.
aside, I've had amazing memories with Titan and Noof. The three of us together were like an unmatched trio. That unfortunately, one by one, we sort of fell apart, but not fell apart. We fell off because of obligations, real life obligations. We weren't able to continue doing the show. But
yeah,
for a moment in time, there was a magic and a dynamic that I literally very rarely have seen matched between the three of us. It just worked. And but like I said, real life happens, and then whatever else, and that's the way it goes, man.
It's kind of like our show. It doesn't really work, but we do it anyway. With you and me,
our show is terrible.
We're
I
awful.
mean, we've been talking
what
for
would you
half
rate?
an hour and no topics.
What would you rate our show out of 10?
Metacritic. 79 Metacritic, and then I'm gonna give our show a 79 Metacritic, and then we're mid at best. So that's pretty much how it goes.
Yeah. We do. Speaking of that, because there's amazing people that are watching the show and supporting. I'm like on the side. I'm going to try and see if I can find the Sea of Thieves picture. But I gotta do this. Okay, here we go. I got to give out some shout outs to some super chats here. Phase 23, Brooklyn, New York. Thank you so much for the super chat. Sorry if he might not still be here, but this was early on the show. Thank you so much for the $20 super. He says, I'm very surprised to see FSR 4 being integrated with PSSR on PS5 Pro. Will FSR 4 come to Xbox Series X, he asks. I thought it was going to. I thought they were going to keep moving up the chain. It's software implementation, but turns out, as I've learned this past week, FSR 4 is really made for machine learning hardware and the newer Radeon hardware, which PlayStation 5 Pro doesn't have, but it somehow is kind of qualified for that support. So the base PS5 and the regular consoles won't get FSR 4. I kind of covered this in my last video and one a couple months ago, but I'll say that's important to bring up FSR 4 because it upscales the image and it's like impeccable in motion. Finally. Right. So yeah, really, really cool thing for PS5 Pro that will come in 2026. But funny enough, like that's really close to PS6 and the next console after 26. So we'll see what happens. Andy Ackerman, thank you so much for the $5 super. Says, I'm going Team Colt today. Sorry, Mag. Step it up.
What the hell? What did I do?
He needs to send a retraction, I think. Yeah.
No, you can't take it back. It's over. It's over. That you've made your decision. It's done. I'm not going to fight for your love.
Well,
I'm walking away.
His beard goes down to here, so that's going to be impossible.
Oh, dude, if his beard goes down to there, I'm going to snapmare him like WWE right over my shoulder under the mat like this, and then just the giant Hogan leg drop. Done, dude.
Oh, my gosh. I saw like an amateur wrestling clip where they had a table in the ring, and the guy jumped off the ropes to land on the table, but the other guy kicked the table up on its side, and
oh my God, did he? Yeah.
He ran his torso into like the edge of the table instead of like this. It was like this, and I watched it 19 times on Instagram. It's great. He probably sharded himself after that. Phase 23, Brooklyn, New York. Thank you so much for the $2 super. He goes, Cole, what platform are you playing AC Shadows on? I'm playing it on PC.
Don't tell anybody.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't tell them.
We can't ask him questions, guys. You can't ask him questions.
Yeah.
When we have games that we're reviewing, Colt is doing more than I am, but like I got one coming up, but other than that, nothing in the horizon. We can't tell you.
Yeah, people always say,
unfortunately, they're like,
what would you give it out of 10?
Yeah, like
I'm like one day into it. What would you give it out of 10? Your mom.
Like, I'm blinking anyway. Yeah.
Your dad. KJ Wars, thanks for this chat. He says, "What's up, you two old farts and another old fart from another old fart." Yeah, thank you.
There you go.
Appreciate you. Grandpa's Barbecue Game Cat with the $5 Australian says, "I don't go even on scores. I go by the reviews, what's said, and what's written." Yeah.
I tend to go with people I trust. Like I for whatever reason, I seem to connect very much with Skill Up. Most of his reviews are pretty much how I feel about a game, so I trust a person like that. Obviously, our YouTube colleagues that we talk to and deal with, you know what I mean, like Colt. Obviously, we talk about it. Mr. Boomstick XL. If you talk to Boom, him and I pretty much play the same games for the most part. And when we talk, and he's like, "Oh, dude, this game is awesome," or whatever else, I obviously implicitly trust him because we have very similar tastes. So I'm like, "Well, Boom likes it." You know, and then the funny thing is, at the end of the day, when it comes to, at least on the Xbox side of things with Game Pass, if you're already subscribed to Game Pass, you know, the risk is very low because all you have to do is just download it and you can try it for yourself. You don't have to ask. Like, it's not like I have to ask Cole about, "Hey, Cole, what do you think about Doom?" Well, it's right there. Just download it yourself. You know, and then just play it yourself. But obviously, if it's a third party or if you're playing on like a PlayStation or a Nintendo, a Switch or whatever, yes, I would look for those other people. So yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, you should use at least 2. I use 3. I use friends, reviewers, score. I use all 3 of those, and you know we say that a lot, but people ask the question like, yeah, you should use a couple different. You know, there's a couple friends that I don't like like Gaz. I rarely take his recommendation. We don't like the same games. He's loving Fragpunk like right now, and he thinks that Avowed is trash. Well, he's wrong. You know, Fragpunk is low.
Well, I didn't like Starfield.
You didn't like Starfield? Yeah.
I couldn't do it, and I tried. I played about 4 or 5 hours, closer to 5 hours, and I just like, I can't. And then I went back to it and I tried it again, and I'm like, all right, let me just sit down and really give this a. And the funny thing is, I love RPGs, I love sci-fi games, I love shooters, and I love that stuff. It's just for whatever reason they just didn't come together for me. But Colteastwood put in 300 plus hours, and it was an amazing game for him. So there's always going to be this difference of opinion based on your personal experience and, of course, your personality, who you are, what connects with you and what doesn't connect with you. That's why people love horror films and some don't. Like, it just connects to their personality, their spirit, their mind, you know, and whatever else. And then another person says, "Oh, wow, this is the greatest thing ever." But that's just the way it is, man.
Yeah.
Everything's going to be personal opinion.
And Magnum says, "I don't trust YouTubers in the slightest, to be honest." Well, Magnum, you shouldn't trust any reviewer then, because it makes no difference if they're on YouTube or not. And I know that's not what you mean, but if you have a problem with a YouTube or a content creator or a semi-famous person or a games journalist or a blogger or a Twitch streamer or whatever, if you don't trust their opinion, you are definitely following the wrong people, because there are some YouTubers who will crap on a game just to be sensational. There are some YouTubers that might always score something really high so they continue to get access. But, you know, I'm very new in this, and I've only made one mistake. And it doesn't even count because it was a preview. Because I previewed Redfall, and people think I said it was Game of the Year. But I have tend to be right around, 10 to 20% off of the industry standard when I look at the like 15 plus games that I've reviewed officially on my channel. So officially meaning I made a video and I made a thing and put a number on it. So yeah, I'm very new. I just started doing this in 2019. So, and anyway, let's get right into the meat of what we need to talk about today. We're going to talk about this new thing. I'm going to start, before I talk about what Jez said, I'm just going to briefly explain. Xbox is supposedly working on a brand new console. It's been greenlit, according to Jez Corden a month ago, that Amy Hood, Satya Nadella, and Phil Spencer all greenlit, go ahead, start developing the new Xbox console. A trusted Call of Duty leaker said that the new dev kit is going to be ported on the next Xbox console in 2026. So I don't think, no, the console isn't coming out in 2026. The news is that Xbox is preparing to start next generation in November of 2027. So about a year and a half from now, right?
Well, that's what
I mean,
we
a little
said
over
already.
a year and a half, right?
Yeah, that was nothing new from what we talked about.
Right.
We already said that. We said it was 2027 with the possibility of a third-party handheld somewhere in 2026. However, we'll get into that story later. But
yeah, and there's a lot of people.
That.
Thank you, Mag. There are a lot of people that are saying that they think or they're hearing that Xbox is launching their next console in 2026. PlayStation themselves even hinted that they would be. I covered it in that in a video like a month or two ago that PlayStation 6. The next PlayStation might be in 2027. So if you're expecting an 8-year cycle, there's absolutely no reason for them to continue to do what they've always done. It's just kind of funky that PlayStation did a Pro.
Yeah. Well, the last, I mean, it's an option though. Like at the end of the day, I know people have had arguments about this and that, whatever, especially with the PS5 Pro. It's an option that is not necessary to buy. If you want to buy it. I bought it, but not everybody has to buy it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you could have like a super powerful car and then a regular car, a 500 horsepower. You don't have to buy the 500 horsepower car. You could buy a Honda Civic. You know what I mean?
You say this in respect to next gen console as well, right? Because I think the generation blending is like never before.
Right. And then it's following the path of the PC market in a smaller way of incremental upgrades that are still carried over and multi-generational, right? Especially as when there's more cloud integration coming in, year after year, it keeps getting better. And then you know what I mean? So like all of a sudden you got people playing on the Xbox One, the Xbox Series, and then they'll be playing, eventually they'll cut off the Xbox One, and then it'll be the Series and then the next gen or whatever else. Same thing with PlayStation. PlayStation is PS4. You still got millions of people still playing there because the games are still functioning there. And then you got the PS5 and the PS5 Pro. No one's forcing you to do it. You don't have to get angry. People got upset and people are like, why'd you buy it? I'm like, what do you care what I buy? If I bought it, what do you care?
Did you forget that? Like this community pocket watches everybody else.
Like what the hell? You care what I buy, what I spend with my incredibly hard-earned money. Or if someone wants to buy the next Xbox and the Series console is still completely fine, you could play all your games there. I'm not going to scream at somebody for spending $1,000 on the next Xbox. Go ahead. Go do what you want.
Yeah.
It's up to your personal preference. Otherwise, if you want everybody to be the same, it's called communism. All right? Everybody gets the same console, same power. That's not how the real world works.
And if you're on PlayStation, everybody gets the same games. Yeah.
You got a guy with a $10,000 car, and then right next to him, you got a $200,000 car. That's just the way it is. Anyway, sorry. I get worked up. Man.
I like
I get
that.
worked up. I get worked up. Some people upset me.
So sue me. I get worked up. What are you going to do about it? Let's start by talking about the nearest future, and we'll kind of break down what this information comes from Jez Corden. The nearest future being sometime in 2025, or maybe midway or late in 2025, an Xbox handheld, but he calls it an Xbox partnered handheld. We talked about this last week, and I actually made a TikTok out of that clip of you and I talking that really? 500 people watched. Thanks, TikTok! And the video before that got 300,000 views. Amazing. Love that.
Want my 1.3 cents
right.
that you made off that video.
Well, I'm not monetized on there, but I'll send you a Toblerone bar or something for that. Let's talk about this new handheld, because we talked about it briefly. We kind of teased it, and there was a couple other podcasts that have been hearing stuff, and they were getting ready to break it. But Jez Corden says that there is a partnered handheld. We don't know who the partner or the company is. Could be Lenovo, could be Samsung, could be Steam Deck, could be Asus, could be what's the other one? Who knows? I forget. But yeah, I don't know why they're making this, Mag. Maybe you can kind of speak to us about what this thing could be, because it's going to be partnered by Xbox. Maybe they help them fund it so the profit margin could be shared or easily attained. But this thing, as far as I've heard from Jez's report, it's not going to play your native console games at all. It's just going to be just like that over there. It'll play PC games and PC Game Pass games. So MSI, thank you, Ammon. Why? Why, Mag? Think about this thing. Think about this and tell us why we would care about a partnered Xbox handheld in 2025.
I'm having trouble understanding any reason why, to be quite honest. I mean, it's an option. If people want it, go ahead, buy it, whatever else. May I ask you a question? Because I do not own a ROG Ally and I don't own a Steam Deck, but you do.
Yes.
Are you able to access Game Pass on
Nick.
there?
Sushi. Shushna.
Are you possessed? That sounded like you were reading from the Book of the Dead, from the Evil Dead. Shushna. And all of a sudden, these demons come out of the wall. They're like, oh, no, the Deadites are back. Yeah, they're coming out of the ground. They're pulling Colt into the cellar.
Oh, I work with a guy that was from Bombay, and that's how he said shush. Like we were in a meeting, and my buddy was talking. He goes, Shushna.
You sound like you're speaking in Huttese.
Yeah, it was.
Jabba the Hutt. Shushna, Shitno, Kawawuki.
Yeah. I was just shushing Special Jabba. Nick because he's Fawn's Gaming in the chat. Shout out to Fawn's. He's like, sounds redundant. Yeah, bro, it does. But Jez Corden like, oh, you got to ask me your question about that. But Jez Corden said they always do third-party stuff. They have third-party controllers that are partnered. They have headsets that are partnered. Whatever. But what was your question about the ROG?
So Nick, do not read from the Necronomicon. You've seen what happens. Don't do it. My question is this: are you able to play Game Pass on those two handhelds?
Those two right there, yes, and they've existed for time and all eternity so far.
Can you flex while you point back with your thumbs like that?
I don't have any muscle. I haven't been doing anything but playing games. I haven't been to the gym. I'm fat.
Eat that pepperoni nipples. I know you're out there with no shirt on, your banana suit. What's up? I'll show you what's up. I'll bench press you.
Alex tries to get me to take off my shirt. It's going to look like the freaking sand dunes in Return of the Jedi because I haven't.
Alex, how you doing, buddy? I know you're not listening to us, but we love
Mag's
you anyway.
got it down. Mag's got it down.
Now, if you can do that, then what the hell is the point of this?
What, flex?
Unless there's a price point. No, not the flexing, for Christ's sake, the handheld.
That's what I'm. Yeah. What's the point? Yeah, go rant for me, would you? Give a rant.
Said, was it Fonz who actually said it sounds redundant?
Yeah, it was Fonz. And he goes, pointless.
It's your fight is pointless, young Skywalker. It doesn't make sense to have a third handheld on the market that does pretty much the same thing. Why are we doing three of them? Like, you have two of them that could do that. That's why I asked you about the ROG Ally and the Steam Deck. If they did not offer Game Pass, then I would say, well, what the hell is the point? I mean, sorry, then you would understand what the point is. You're like, oh, the only thing I could think of is that it would be like a price point thing. But then could they charge what you would charge for a Portal, and instead of paying anywhere between $400 and $700, $800 American for this product? Or do you go $199, $199, or $150 for a Portal style, and it just... Okay, so then what's the point of this?
Noise Fomo nails it. He goes, it's a software update. I think that's what it is. I think it's a, let's say, $600, $700 handheld from a company like ASUS or MSI.
Two behind you.
And it's got and it's got an Xbox button on it.
Right.
When you turn it on, like it already has Xbox app and Game Pass app installed, like ready to launch. You don't have to go. You don't have to go to the Windows Store and go download it and log into your or you have to log in, but like why? And so let me pretend. Okay. Let me pretend that I'm ASUS, and I'm like, okay, we have the ROG Ally. We just put out the ROG Ally X, which is more powerful. What? I'd be like to Phil and them. I'm like, why do we want to sell another model with your? And they we'll pay you and they'll pay you for the production and we can both take a cut from it. And he's like, I'll be like, why would we water down our product line with another one of these? That's kind of how I look at it.
Yeah. Now I would think that I'm seeing somebody. Drac Duck 7. He says something that's Great just name. As powerful or even a bit more, but much less cost wise. It'll definitely sell well. That's why I asked about the cost. Yeah. If it was cost effective, where it opens up the market to people who couldn't afford, like in Canada, the bigger Steam decks, like the more memory, they're like $1,000 up here, $1,100. I know people keep sending me pictures and like, oh, but man, I can get it for $5.99 on Temu or whatever. I'm like, okay, Christ, if you go to Best Buy, they range from $600 to $1,100 in Canada. All right, for you guys, obviously much less in the U.S. because your dollar's better. But the point is,
Just move here.
if you did something, well, it might be on the cards. But I mean, the thing is, it's that when you look at some of the at something like a PS Portal, now you're opening it up to something that would be an amazing stocking stuffer for $1.50. You know what I mean? Or $1.99 or whatever. Obviously, it's expensive stocking stuffer, but you know what I'm getting at. That's something a lot more affordable to people. But
I want to live at Mag's house. I want Mag to be my Santa Claus. I'll sit on your lap.
My kids are well, we could do that anyway. No one's getting a $200 stocking stuffer at my house, okay? But anyway, the point is that it's much more accessible. You know,
is anybody getting a $200 lap dance? Because
lap dance, well, I've spent a lot more on lap dances. Jeez, especially when you lose track of songs. And she's like, "Yeah, this is like 7 songs." I'm like, "What? That was 3 songs." Anyways, the thing is,
Stairway to Heaven. It's like 7 minutes.
Yeah, that's why you'll never hear "Stairway to Heaven" in a strip club, ladies and gentlemen. You'll never hear it.
Can you imagine? If you man no muscle, I didn't know tomorrow. That'd be the worst.
Can you imagine? This
or American Pie by Don McLean.
Yeah, the strippers are like falling asleep because they're just exhausted from like 11 minutes of like the live version of Stairway to Heaven.
That would be the worst.
A 4-minute guitar solo. It's just like, come on, man. Anyways, you have those 2 products behind you. If they're priced the same and they don't do anything different other than maybe a small technological leap, then I think this is a redundant and waste of time product. However, if they think it's going to sell and they're going to sell well or whatever else, if there's hunger out there for the product, then go for it. But I don't see them. I see it more of like a niche kind of thing to begin with, and I just don't see the point to this. I'm not excited. I'm not buying it. I have no interest in buying it. I have a PlayStation Portal. You know why? Because it was cheap, and I'm like, well, it was cheap enough that I could say, let me give it a shot. Turns out it actually has been a magnificent product for me. I've really enjoyed it. I was playing it up north of the cottage absolutely perfectly. No hiccups, no problems, no issues. Just amazing. And it was perfect. And I'm like, that's great. For under $200 with tax, I'll do that all day long. If they did something like that on the Xbox side of things, I'd buy that too just because it was affordable. I'd be like, you know what, this is something I could do. I can give to my kids when we go on a road trip or whatever because you can have Wi-Fi in the car and whatever else, right? But it's not... I'm not going to start jumping into anything that's anywhere between $400 and could be up to $800 or whatever. I'm not interested. And I mean, you don't have one now. I don't have one now because I do 99.99% of my gaming at home. So for me, this is as Fawn said, it's redundant.
Yeah, I'm going to be in a plane tomorrow evening for 3 hours, and then next week for 4 hours, one way each way. So. Right. I'm going to put AC Shadows on that thing and continue my playthrough. It's funny, the trips when I've been like, I need a ROG Ally for a trip. At that moment I've gone on those trips, I didn't have a brand new game. I couldn't wait till I continue to play on that thing. But I will. Like this new Xbox partnered handheld won't allow me to load up Split Fiction, which I only own on console. So why does it make it any different?
No, it doesn't. That's why I'm like, what's the point of this? You're offering 3 products that do the exact same thing.
Maybe we're missing the plot because
maybe there's something I don't know.
Special Nick still in the chat because I'm wondering if there's got to be like there could be like one little sidebar. It's like, well, I mean, it does this, or this is a purpose for it, and like, oh,
but would that be enough?
No.
Would that be enough to change your view on spending another $700 on something or $500 or whatever it's going to be? I mean, I gotta answer. Redundant. It's like exclusive.
Yeah.
Redundant. I'm going to answer 2 people in the chat something very quick. Tim Richards asked, can you use the Portal without a PS5 yet? Yes, you can. You can actually do cloud streaming on the Portal now. So
what games are available on the cloud service? Is there like a select?
It's what's on the PS Plus. Whatever's like on the PS Plus network, you have to be subscribed to PS Plus, and you can access cloud gaming on the Portal, and they actually work quite well. I mean, internet, unless you're living in like the swamps of in Florida next to an alligator, everybody else that's in a major city is going to have decent enough internet that it's not an issue.
Yeah, so, and the rest of the world, outside of the U.S., some people have much better internet than we do by average. So. Don't think of yourselves if you're just in the U.S. like what internet's like, or if you like Red Wolf, he'll be way out in the country and he can't even get a freaking text message.
Yeah.
So
Like Fonz,
sometimes.
I didn't see that Fonz wrote it in capitals. That's really funny.
Yeah, that's why I was like redundant.
I want to answer something else. BT
Okay.
Maverick, my good friend Maverick. What's
BT
up,
Maverick.
dude? He says, Mag. That's funny. Where the hell is it now? Jesus, see what happens when you're old? The chat moved. Oh, there he goes. Mag, you don't represent handheld gamers. Well, obviously, there's not a lot of representation for handheld gamers because they're not selling like hotcakes at all outside of the PlayStation Portal, which is the most successful
and the
handheld
Switch
device this generation.
Well, I mean, the Steam
Switch,
Deck is doing well for itself, but I do agree with you.
How
Mag.
many units as a
like 6 million, but it could have been done. It could be doing bigger numbers, but they're making money off of it. But I think you're right.
Look it up right now.
The triple, I don't want to call them triple A, but like the diehard playing all the latest, biggest games on a handheld, that market is fairly small. The handheld market is much bigger in mobile gaming and Switch. I think that's fair to say. And I got to read what Special Nick wrote here because I asked him a specific question. He says, I don't know the details, but I'm assuming that if it's, quote, Xbox approved or whatever, then it must be able to do stuff others can't or just do things better.
Well, that's why we're asking. We're asking that there's got to be a difference because I don't see any logical reason for releasing a same product 3 times by different companies that would do the same thing. So obviously this thing offers something different, I would imagine. It's just like, again, I'm going to bring up cars. It's like bringing up a car. Yes, all the cars will get you from A to B, but maybe there's something that will entice you to purchase this car because they have a certain set of features no one else has or whatever. By the way, the Steam Deck only sold 3.7 million units, and that's as of February 26, 2025.
I thought it was 6.
No, 3.7, and that's of February 26th of this year. And ROG Ally sales.
And those handhelds are priced to profit, so that's why they're so expensive. They're the battery, the controller, and the screen. That's all built in. That's why they're so expensive. I'm so surprised at that. I'm surprised that the Portal is so cheap for how well it's made.
This is an outdated one from like a year ago, but they were saying it was only approximately 860,000 units of the ROG Ally. I would imagine it crossed well over 1 million by now. But now, if you add up these 2 companies that did that, you didn't even hit 5 million sales between 2. So I don't think there's anybody outside of the Switch that's representing a handheld unit very much because that's not even not even like a small fraction of the gaming community. It's like a fragment of a fraction of the gaming community. This thing would have to offer something else, but maybe they see faith in it, man. It's just like these companies that keep coming out with with VR headsets. It's such a niche product to begin with, but they keep coming out with more, hoping that maybe one day there's the one that's going to crack the market. And you know what did crack the market? The one that was appropriately priced. Because the super powerful ones, nobody bought. The PSVR 2, wonderful machine, nobody bought it because it's too damn expensive. And you're paying already for a very expensive... The MetaQuest is killing it because it was affordable. This all comes down to dollars.
Yeah, I think the masses don't care about how much power you can strap to your face.
No.
Which takes us back to our lap dance conversation, which we won't get back into. But someone's like, "Inagata-da-vida, baby."
I saw that. I'm like, oh, that's
only you and I.
Minute. Yeah. Only that's an 11-minute song. For 11 minutes.
Yeah, that song came out like early 1970, and the singer looks like Eddie Vedder. Go watch the video sometime. Not now. We're in the show.
Iron Butterfly, man.
Yeah, Iron Butterfly. Andy Ackerman with his retraction for $5 says, to be fair, the other day I did say Colt was the second best co-host. So, Mag, you do win.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you so much for that. Yeah.
Top Gamer has a question. He says, what would you say called that keeps you gaming on a video game? In other words, what keeps you gripped in a video game when you start it? We'll make this a brief answer, but it's a chewy, ooey, gooey, crunchy loop that like a satisfying loop of the gameplay. Like you get in and you kill stuff and you loot and it just, everything feels satisfying, like the gameplay loop that has a good momentum. That's what hooks me early on. What hooks you in a game early on?
100% the same thing. Gameplay loop has to be the key to it first because you're going to be doing it thousands and thousands of times over again, whatever. Yeah, it has to be the kind of thing that you can't stop doing it. However, very tightly tied to that situation in a very symbiont relationship has to be, in a smaller way, the story, atmosphere, and everything else of the game that pulls you into the world. But the first thing, number one, has to be the gameplay. If the gameplay's not fun and it doesn't keep you coming back, why do you think Call of Duty so popular? Call of Duty is so popular because
it itches and it scratches
over and over and over and over.
Yeah.
But it's just the gameplay loop is so satisfying and so amazing. Yeah, you just like a crack fiend. You just keep going back to it, and that's what it is. So gameplay loop first, and then everything else has to tie into it in a much smaller scale. But it comes together as a cohesive package. There's my answer.
Yeah, that's a good question, and I was feeling that recently, especially when I play or preview new games. Michael Larson, thank you for the 5. Says, good evening, Colt and Mag. Original Xbox games need achievements, especially added like the Star Wars KOTOR games. Thanks for a great show. We appreciate you being here. They'll probably never do that, go back and put up achievements for old games. But yeah, it would be great to play those, like popping them. It just kind of helps. It's another thing that scratches the itch. Do you know Broke Boy Insider? Thank you so much for the $5 super. Says, do you think the constant talk of the next Xbox, the Xbox handheld and future consoles, is one of the things hurting current sales? People are waiting. No, I don't think so. I think they were
not making sales before people were talking about it. To be quite honest, hey, I'm just being honest, man.
That's true.
They weren't selling squat before, so they're not going to sell anything now. People are not waiting.
I think
either moved on to PC. What do they call them in the YouTube world? Xbox refugees or something.
You're right.
I saw that. I saw people say that. I'm like, that's actually kind of funny. And they're like, Xbox refugees are now PC players if you can afford it. The PC world, which is crazy. But and then or people have moved on to something else, other avenues of access, or they just dumped Xbox entirely.
Yeah, I think
I'm just giving you the 3 options.
When the Series X was revealed at the Keeleys in 2019, Xbox, they just wanted a shot in the arm to get people excited again. And I think Xbox doesn't plan for people to be talking about this. They're not ready. They're not going to be revealing this new Xbox next generation console until 2026 at the end of the year.
Yeah, but dude,
whatever.
We know there's a leaky ship.
Yeah, I know.
There's a lot of leaks coming out of that place because there's a lot of loose lips. Nope, like people talking a lot of stuff. Now, some of the things that some of us are privileged to are much higher up than just some, the janitor who just happened to overlook some guy goes, hey, they're working on this game. Like, these are like high level people some of us have access to and whatever else. Yeah, we're privileged to better information. But yeah, it's a leaky ship over there, man. A lot of news comes out of there. So sometimes you get the truth. A lot of times, actually, a lot of these leaks and stuff like that from other people are actually pretty close to the mark. It's just as things change and things go on, they're not getting the full picture and they're not getting the full story. And as a result of that, you're getting like these half stories and like, oh, well, that's kind of half true. It's kind of half not true. And then things change, plans change all the time. Things evolve daily. You go into work and like, guys, this is the policy today. We're doing this, that, and the other. 48 hours later, you get an email saying policy.
No more pants.
Now we're doing, no more pants. Now we're doing this. No more pants at Microsoft, ladies and gentlemen. Now we're doing this and that or whatever. And so things constantly change. And then we got called liars because they changed it. I'm like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, that really pissed me off that the guy's like, you lied. It's like,
yeah,
I know. I can't say pissed. That really pissed me off with plosives in the mic. That pissed me off. It's like he lied. It's like, why the F would I lie? What is the lie? Like what to what end would I say, hey, it's gonna be okay, don't worry? Like, that would be the dumbest thing in the world for me to say. They're never putting their games on PlayStation and then knowing that they were going to. That has got to be the dumb. I swear, dude. Meg, people on social media or people just these tourists watching from the outside got to be the dumbest people on the planet. The same people who think I was bashing Death Stranding, a game I loved, because they're stupid. Let me move on.
Dude,
BT Maverick, our good friend. What?
Well, we're going to get to Maverick in a second. Imagine me going to a Buffalo Bills game and then Josh Allen, who just signed a 6-year deal, by the way, $330 million. Imagine Josh Allen calls an audible and then me from the crowd goes, you liar! You liar! You lied! It was supposed to be a slant play. And then you called an audible, you liar! Like, that's how stupid it sounds.
Yeah, that's true. People get mad.
Get back to Maverick. What does that scumbag
want?
What is he
talking
about?
I do want to see what the scumbag BT Maverick says. But, people are like, Phil lied. Yeah, I mean, it sure looks like it, but unfortunately.
I mean, he's obviously more privy to information than all of us, and he's probably told, and I said this before, I'm like, listen, they're like, you can only talk about this, that, and the other. And they're like, well, he's like, well, dude, we're changing we're literally putting
He's
all
like,
the
I'm
games
running
over
the
there.
business. I should be able to say what I want.
Yeah, but there's always a bigger fish, right?
Yeah, that's
Qui-Gon
right.
Jinn, 1999, Qui-Gon Jinn. There's
Mhm.
always a bigger fish. And he's like, but then the bigger fish comes in and goes, hi, listen, Phil, we know we're bringing everything over there, but you can't talk about that right now. So you're going to have to dance around. I don't care. Call your speechwriter. Let him figure it out.
Oh, he did not dance around it very well. He's just like, we've covered that for a year, but yeah.
You know, maybe he had like George W. Bush's speechwriter or something. He was like, wasn't very good, so he went off script a lot. I don't know. And then all of a sudden, it's like, it makes him look bad. And I'm not defending Phil either, but I'm just saying at the end of the day, you're privy to information, but the company says, listen, you can only talk about so much because the rest of it is privileged information only for, for us and whatever else. And now he has to dance around and be like, oh, how am I going to talk about this? And then all of a sudden, but then you see, they kind of catch him because people got evil eyes. All of a sudden you say something over here, but then you let something slip when you go talk to VG whatever 24 or whatever the hell they're called. And you know what I mean? And you talk to them, like, oh, did he just say that? And so it's hard. So it's not.
Yeah,
easy.
I mean,
not easy being cheesy.
Chester Cheetah.
That's right.
1984.
1984.
I don't know what year it was, but something like that.
Neither do I.
But we're probably somebody Google that for us when Chester Cheetah said it's not easy being cheesy. Actually, it might have been closer to like 89 or 91. I think it might have been later.
Shout out to Colteastwood saying "pissed off" on the air. By the way,
that pisses me right off. That pisses me right off. Yeah,
he's back.
Thank you for Danta Kizada, who just gifted 5 channel memberships. We appreciate you for keeping the studio lights and the red and blue in the background. I actually have the
what did
window
Maverick
opening.
say?
Yeah, thank you. Let's get back to Maverick. BT Maverick with the $5 super says, Xbox is coming out with their own OS for clunky Windows on handhelds. We will find out more this month. More people can get in your store, and that means more money. Thank you for bringing that up, BT Maverick, because I wanted to say the handhelds are still very, very flawed. When I go to the airport, I said this last week, I have to make sure that I'm in offline mode in Steam or I'm in offline mode so that I can access my game, because otherwise it'll go, you're not connected, no entitlement. And that wriggle around you have to do on a handheld is so stupid, especially since it's bad enough on console and at home. Like if your internet goes out, can I play my games? Well, that depends. Like a handheld should be like, hey, we got you for 2 days, 3 days offline completely. If I'm going to go to Amsterdam and fly somewhere, I should be able to play my games. So BT Maverick makes a good point. Maybe something in that OS makes that entitlement much easier to use when you know you're going to be in the car, like driving on the riding in the interstate, whatever, in the car on the interstate. It's not driving while you're playing the game. I've said enough. That you make a good point. Sith Lord for the chat says, hi guys. Thank you for making the last few years awesome. I hope the next decade is better than the past. If not, I'll haunt Mag for fun. Keep being awesome. Sith Lord
where are you going?
He just hit a milestone birthday. He's not going anywhere.
He did. Yeah,
he just wants to go another 10 years and then check back in.
That implies that you're going to be on a different plane of existence. Let's not talk about that.
Yeah, let's not. We're not going into the 4th dimension.
Yeah, but you're not going there. You're not going there yet.
Yeah, we appreciate.
You got to buy 4XP. All right, you got things to do.
I think Sith Lord did buy some 4XP, bro.
He did. I know. No, he just got it. Yeah, he just got it. Yeah, we had. I had to reach out. We did some things. We got it all worked out. It was wonderful. Yeah. So he sent me the thumbs up saying it all worked out. So I was great. I'm glad to see that.
I am going to move the topic to the next generation Xbox console hybrid PC. There's some cool stuff there. But before I do, Illuminati85 has a question I think is tailor-made for Mag. For $2, he says, Potent Potables, he says, will U.S. tariffs affect Xbox U.S. video game products in California?
California?
I mean, I don't know much about tariffs,
maybe
but in Canada, I'm sorry.
In Canada. In Canada? I was going to say California. What the hell is that going to... no,
Canada-fornia.
No, it won't.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
How long will the tariffs last? Like, how long are we going to see this price hike in electronics until it kind of all like pulls back? I have no idea how this works, but do you have any idea or guess?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's not okay. I could say this much. It's not as pronounced and extreme as the media make it sound like it's the end of the world. No, it's just things will balance itself out eventually, whatever else, and they'll iron themselves out. But there's stuff I'm not entirely privy to, so I can't give you a complete, educated answer on that. I'm not dancing around it because I'm trying to not tell the truth. I'm just saying I don't think it's going to be as big a deal as people think. I think people take the situation, they're like, oh, this is going to happen. Well, that's going to apply to everything. That's not entirely true. So I wouldn't worry about it too much.
Okay. There's your tariff question. And I really, I learned a lesson.
I hope that helped. I mean, like I said, it's
A shout out to Xbox Expansion Pass. Luke in the chat with the $2 says, just supporting. Good to see you, Cole. I was on his show on Saturday. Shout out to him and his show. Check him out if you want to hear more gaming discussion. And, you could just have a good time learning about stuff that you didn't know before you logged in. That's what it's really all about. But I want to talk about this next console. We've talked about this quite a bit, and you and I have differing ideas on what we've heard or what we think is going to happen. I don't know. Do you want to speculate what you think this next console is going to be? When it's going to come out, and when you think it'll be revealed, and all that stuff.
The only thing I was ever privy to, and that's why I'm going to leave this topic in your hands. But I'm just going to briefly say something. Is just that the only thing that I was ever privy to when it came to hardware was what I had talked about over a year ago, and that was that there was going to be a handheld coming out at some point, a hybrid handheld, something that was going to be worked on in conjunction with the Surface team, and then the other thing was a dedicated actual box that will sit under your TV in the traditional manner.
Dang.
Other than that, I've heard very little. So I've heard very little on the hardware side because most of the people I speak to are the ones making the business decisions, not the hardware decisions, the business decisions about the direction of the company and the software side of things. I know a lot about that stuff, very little about the hardware, but I think this might be more your alley. So if you got more information, yes. That was a year ago. That was a year ago.
So at one point you heard there's possibly there's possibly 3 products. I'll repeat, if I repeat it correctly, a handheld, a Surface type thing, and a traditional console.
Right.
And are you saying
I
like
heard 2
things? So one of those last 2 is like an amalgamation of a handheld and then like a Surface console hybrid PC.
Right. Now the other thing is we did hear, and we heard about it in late 2024, was that originally this thing that's going to be announced in the next little bit here was supposed to be announced back in January, the first week of January. Remember there was that show in January, and they were supposed to announce it. Yes, the new handheld hardware was supposed to be announced in the first week of January. It got pushed to the spring. And so that's the only other piece of information I got on there. And then of course the PSSR thing, because I spoke to somebody over there. And but that's about it. Right? Hardware wise, this is your game. So I mean, if you got some more knowledge on this, please educate all of us.
I mean, I've dove in. There you go. I've dove into this quite a bit about what this thing could be. I like the idea that Surface would help Xbox and Jason Ronald build this console hybrid PC thing. I would expect it to be fairly powerful, a little bit more expensive, like in the $700, $800 range. I would also expect it to be, I think it was Face23 Brooklyn, New York in the chat, wrote about a half an hour ago that AI-powered hardware is the future, and he's 100% right. I think what we're going to get is future hardware, the way you'd expect it to kind of move up and become more powerful and more tightly packed transistors. But it also is going to come with it some really robust AI-powered features, like silicon-based AI tensor core type things. And this is some of the stuff is way out of my tech league, but I explain it the best I can, because right now, software implementation like PSSR and FSR, that's like software the developers can like hitchhike onto their game, and now they can get more frame rates and sharpen it up. So games could be at a lower resolution, but look better, and they're less demanding, which is really cool. And then the other part is Xbox's like most technological leap ever, Meg, is that this thing will have AI tensor core type hardware in the chip that is made to do all the processing compute to make frame rates faster and make pixels sharper, make things look like 4K and make them feel like 60 and 120 FPS. And the developers don't have to like break their back in half like they've been doing for the past 20 years to reach those like targets. And they have targets. Like when they're building a game, they're like, we need this game. We want this game to run at this resolution target at this frame rate on console. That's how it's going to look. We want this presentation and we want this feel. And some of that they don't have to compromise because AI could do the heavy lifting. So that's about as much as I can explain about that without boring you to death. But
No, that's interesting.
expect some really cool hardware. The specs are still going to be impressive on paper, but the AI is going to do amazing things because Digital Foundry showed FSR 4, which is probably going to come to the PS5 Pro at the end of its life cycle. But like I said,
you think it'll be that long?
Well, they're saying in 2026, and then the PS6 comes out a year later. So I don't know when in 2026.
Oh, I see. Okay, I see. All right.
So
Yeah,
toward the
sense.
end,
I get it.
And basically just the software stuff, guys. It's the software machine learning stuff is impeccable looking in the near future. So another thing I can say about this console hybrid PC is that Xbox is supposedly working on a universal Windows and Xbox dashboard, a Windows 11 integrated Xbox dashboard that will launch on your PC. Like anybody on desktop PC would be able to download this Xbox Dash and get the full thanks. Face is still here. Thank you so much. He's contributed like some really good insight on this as well. This Xbox dashboard would give you the Xbox experience, which I hope and I pray would also give you what pop up and say your friends online instead of this little box in the corner on PC. The achievement animation would come over, and with that would your entire library be playable on this PC. And I've said this before on the show a lot of times when we talk about this. This hybrid PC would play all of the available Xbox console games and then all the PC Game Pass games. So pick and choose. I just don't know if they would unlock the potential of your console games. Like you load up Middle-earth Shadow at War. Is that what's called? Middle-earth War Shadow? I forgot what the second one's called. You load up Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor, your Xbox version, and all of a sudden you have access to like change the frame rate and boost up the resolution. I think they need to unlock that potential. The reason why I say all that is I hope Phil has talked about he wants entitlement. All your games go everywhere and anywhere and no one can stop us is kind of how I think he's doing this. So I think that if they could do a workaround, Mag, that all of your console games you own on Xbox, you can play them on this PC or a brand new PC because it would be considered an Xbox by a loophole. Sorry, right. I'm blabbering a lot about it, but there is this possibility that this thing is considered by all rights and licensing jargon that they can't say anything, that Ubisoft or EA or whoever, like, yeah, we have to allow them to play it on these devices. Like Xbox, your games go everywhere because they've made those devices with their software update. They've made them what is legally considered an Xbox, and you get to play them there. It could be a literal game changer, bringing over so many games and unlocking the potential of playing those games like you've never seen them before, even if you're talking about old titles. So that's kind of some back and pat talk on it. Sorry, that's a lot to say, but
no, that's it. Like I said, you had more insight on all of that. So I was like, you know what? That's great. That hey, listen, man, if you got more knowledge on it, go ahead and speak on it. I'm not going to talk over you and blab nonsense. Just go ahead and speak it, man. I'm learning too. So like I said, I don't have a lot of people that I talk to on the hardware side of things, right? So I just hear like basic things, which a lot of people ended up sourcing me like last year. Like I remember IGN and a couple other ones about the Surface developed handheld, and then the other dedicated box on whatever. But that and that was basically it. So all this other information you're getting is actually quite excellent. So I'm glad you informed all of us about it.
Yeah,
and it's exciting times, man. Technology's fun.
It is. It's really exciting, and it's literally changing the games industry. And kind of by necessity, the Xbox has been so far behind in third place when it comes to consoles that they have broken the games industry open wide to even where their competitors are considering more multi-platform approach with PlayStation, putting the games on PC. I was so shocked that Death Stranding 2 isn't coming out day and date on PC, but guess what? Death Stranding 1 came to PC 6 months later, back on the PS4 era. So the difference there is really a stark contrast of how the games industry is run. And I know a lot of people like to argue about it, but it literally translates to us having more freedom, choice, and flexibility in how we play our games and where our dollar is spent and how far it goes. And if Xbox is going to actually be able to do this with this cross entitlement, it could it would really be a major boost to the games industry that has really been about restriction for competition. And with PlayStation saying, we don't have to restrict anymore, or we don't have to worry about fighting against the Xbox console. And they do worry about it because they can be more lax with how they give their customers more choice as well. So the other thing is, we could breeze over the Project Sibyle, which is the haptic controller finally coming to Xbox. I wish they would have just thrown this out now.
When is that thing coming, man?
It's a next generation thing, but I think that Microsoft would have been better benefited to say, look, most of our players play on an Xbox controller, on console and or on PC. So why not just make this amazing DualSense 5 like controller? DualSense 5 controller is amazing. Why not just make that thing? And we sell more controllers and consoles. Put this thing out as soon as it's ready. But I think they're waiting for next generation.
Well, there's more to it. There's more to it than that, because it's not just releasing a controller. Like you go to like the lab design thing or whatever. This has to be implemented in the game, which means it has to be programmed by the developers to be able to react a certain way, right? So it still has to be worked on by somebody. So you know what I mean? They're gonna have to go in there, and they're not gonna do back. I'll tell you right now, I don't think they're gonna waste their time going back and doing back-to-back games that people are. They don't have to play their games. Well, they don't have to go back and do it.
They don't have to.
What do you mean?
The report is that the software, audio waveform, haptic, rumble, and all that stuff is fully back compat. So you don't have to do anything. It just looks at the game and it takes the rumble that's already designed into the game and it just splits it in half. And I'm just making this part up, but it said it's back compat where it just looks at the original design for the rumble and adapts it to work with the different motors. So you could pick up an old game, and like that's why I say if they could cut it out as soon as possible. They sell so many controllers. If they announced an $80 DualSense style Xbox wireless controller and said you could play this thing on Xbox and PC and anywhere where Xbox and whatever exists. And I mean, you could play an Xbox controller on anything right now because it works across PC and it has DualSense like haptics. I think that thing would fly off the shelves. I just think maybe Microsoft isn't ready for that controller, so they're holding it until next generation. But I'm like, if I was there I'd in the warehouse, put it out tomorrow if you could. Because it is back compat.
If they're able to implement the same way that they do for Sony, I'd buy one.
I would too.
Because even like the simplest things, it really does add an immersiveness to it that would be just absolutely fantastic. Like for example, even like you're playing Resident Evil, there's also the 3D audio that comes through the speaker, right, on the controller too. So that's another thing. Like
you pick up audio cool files. Too.
Well, yeah, you pick up like audio files and stuff like that, and then like all of a sudden you hear the voice coming through your controller as if you're holding like the little recording, like the little hand recorder that you picked up off of a table, or you walk on the sand, you feel like it's crunching on the sand or in the water. Like you could feel ice, you could feel rain, you could feel all these different things. When you get hit with something, I remember playing what the hell is that game? The one that the people didn't like, it was like Dead Space, Callisto Protocol, and that had fantastic implementation on the DualSense 5. So what happens is like there's these big industrial fans as you're going through like these areas of the ship, and you're like 10 feet away, and you could barely feel it on the controller, but as you walked closer, the fan, you could literally feel the fan getting like, you know what I mean? Like it was intensifying. The Doppler effect on your hand as you were getting closer to the fan, and it felt like you were literally walking next to that fan. And like, that is so cool. And it's not gimmicky. It really did add a whole new experience to the game. The Resident Evil games, fantastic implementation of the DualSense as well. So I'm like, yeah, if Xbox does it, go for it. You've got some incredible titles out there that can absolutely take advantage of that. Doom, right?
It's the only thing that the Xbox controller doesn't do better than the DualSense 5.
Fable.
And I think the DualSense 5 is amazing, but
I love it.
Yeah,
but like
it just doesn't have those haptics.
You have coming up. Look at the titles you have coming up. Doom, Fable, fill in the blank Call of Duty, because you're going to have one every year. Some other games that are going to, you know what I mean? South of Midnight, whatever else. And then we got all the other games coming out even later on down the road. State of Decay 3.
I actually have a list.
Whatever, Dave.
I have a list.
Would that be amazing to have haptics in there as well? Be
awesome.
I
mean, all of these would be amazing. Like
kick a chicken and Fable, and you could feel it in the controller as the chicken goes flying through the air.
PlayStation fans don't really understand. Like the Xbox controller has some really cool stuff. It has these force feedback triggers on it. So when I'm playing Forza Horizon or Motorsport, like when I brake, it feels like the ABS is working on the drum. It's amazing. Like it's working on the caliper on the brake thing. Anyway, Mr. Carman here. It's got kind of like adaptive triggers because they're rumble triggers, and it has great rumble. It's just missing that center part, that micro haptics. So it's not far off, and I think
love that stuff, man.
I love it too, and I think that I don't think they'd put a speaker in it. The speaker thing's fine, but I'll have a headset on.
It's not the end of the world.
And I don't hear it.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And
it's not the end of the world for the speaker thing. Like it's just a cute little. I'm like, oh, that's kind of fun. Or as you get close to like a zombie in Resident Evil, for example, another bringing up Resident Evil again, you can actually hear the breathing through the controller, and you're like, oh crap. And then you start looking around the screen going, where is it? You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, as you're getting closer, I'm like, okay, that's kind of freaky. But you're not wrong. A lot of gamers are going to be playing it on, your home theater, or they're going to be playing it with headphones on. You're not going to hear the damn controller anyway. So you're not wrong there. But I generally don't play with headphones on because I like to hear what's going on in my house. You know what I mean? Because I got young kids, and I don't one of them falls or this and that. I can't sit there with the bloody headphones on playing Doom, listening to metal, it's like, right? And then my kids are falling off the bed or whatever, right? And smashing windows, and I'm just sitting there listening to metal and just going, yeah. It's like, kill the Doom guy. You know what I mean? So I have to hear what's going on. So to me, I like having the option. But anyways.
I'll do a sidebar since you brought it up. I have this list of Xbox is set to put out a game every single month. Every month. And I'll do this quickly.
That's insane, yeah.
Avowed, Adamfall on Game Pass, which sort of kind of counts because it's day one. Forza Horizon 5 on PS5, South of Midnight, Indiana Jones on PS5. Indiana Jones just got ESRB rated to the PS5, so that announcement is coming in a month.
What? Say that again? I missed that. You cut out for me for some reason.
Oh, Indiana Jones got ESRB rated for PS5, so it's impending in a month or so. So, and then right after that, Doom: The Dark Ages, Tony Hawk 3 and 4 remaster, the rumored Oblivion remake, which is like pretty sure thing, Towerborn in the early access.
It's not rumored; it's coming.
Yeah, that's how we.
I'll
feel,
have more
right?
information.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry. No, go ahead.
Okay.
I'm not going to get into it now.
Yeah, we'll save it on another show probably. Ninja Gaiden 4, Outer Worlds 2, Call of Duty Black Ops sequel, whatever they call it, and then possibly another Forza Horizon game. But yeah, I mean if you count by months, they have something every single month. But I wanted to ask you about a couple MIA games. Like Judas was supposed to be 2025, the Ken Levine BioShock style game in space. It's like he just did an interview, but there's no release window or anything. But I got to ask you about Mafia, the Old Country. Like what about it? We thought we were going to be playing this by April. Does it have a release date?
Yeah, in the summer.
But it doesn't have a date. It just has a.
Hold on. Now you're going to make me look it up. I swear to God, I thought it was August, July or August.
I thought it was like April or May or something. And
no. They said summer. They said summer when they did Q3.
Yeah.
So it's Q3
summer 2025.
Yeah, I remember when they did the last trailer when they actually showed some gameplay, and then it said summer 2025. So and I don't know where I heard, but I heard somewhere between July and August, not June.
All right, let me take your rectal temperature. What's Grand Theft Auto 6? When is it going to release? After it's all said and done.
The funny thing is, as it stands, they've gone awfully quiet. Which is good. That's a good thing. That means that they're buckling down and they got some things to do. They're working. They got the other trailer that they're editing. So that's great because it's coming out soon. And then they're gonna have to have those deep dives and the exposés about GTA, the new GTA Online, and the things that you could do in obviously the main campaign game and stuff like that. And then they're gonna announce a release date. My guess is this: Take-Two has 3 big games coming out. If you're under the assumption that GTA 6 is going to drop this year, you've got Mafia 4, which is dropping between July and August. You've got an actual release date now, late September, 3rd week of September for Borderlands 4. And then I would say a month later you drop GTA 6. And then that's one hell of a year.
That's a lot of money to make.
That's a lot of money to make for Take-Two Interactive, man. They're going to be making a fortune from those 3 games. Okay. And that's again under the assumption that GTA 6 is going to drop this year. But as it stands, we haven't heard otherwise.
Yeah, apparently they have. Oh my gosh!
Would you sit on a porcupine needle?
I just ran my big toe into my desk, and it just it goes ting.
Pines in my
pisses
house.
me off.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get back to the Xbox hardware stuff. We're not done yet.
All right. Okay. All right. Get back to it.
It's a good thing I didn't. Anyway, it's a good thing I let my toenails grow out this long because it didn't actually hit my toe. So Grandpa's Barbecue Gamecat says, thank you for the $5 super, buddy. I appreciate you being here every week and supporting us. Means a lot. He says, any truth to the rumors that Xbox, after all that, approximately 2035 or 2037, will be developed in conjunction with Musk and will be a neural chip insert?
Oh, I thought for half a second he was being serious. I'm like, what does he know about 2035?
I mean, which is funny about, pretty soon we won't even have to hold a controller to play games, but
don't want to do that.
Digital Foundry did talk about neural processing in the next console, and I didn't bring that up because I covered it in my video. Check it out. It's on my channel. If you go to the regular videos tabs, the neural processing thing's like way over my head, but basically it's AI that can
unintended.
Yeah. It's AI that will think for itself and basically do all the processes or the computations for the game on its own and could kind of bring things to life. But they talk about it like it's a possibility in 2027 that there could be some neural processing. It's already kind of in tech now.
It's kind of like the eye tracking technology that they put into VR. That just all it does is that it's not going to be taking away from the experience, and it's not going to be making it easier. All it's doing is it's implementing a faster decision making process that you make because it's an interactive experience. It's not sitting there watching a film where you're doing nothing. You're just sitting there, right, and watching it. But this is an interactive experience. So what they're going to have to do is they have to find a happy medium where it's going to push the gameplay or narrative forward by accessing parts of you. And that's what I said with the VR when they had the eye tracking technology came into play. And then what it did is it just sped up and integrated more of the immersion because you're able to look around as opposed to having to turn your head like 1989 Batman, with no neck. You're like,
yeah, and I think
so it just makes it less clunky. But I can't see them doing much more than that because then what's the point of actually interacting if you're not really interacting? I understand you're interacting on a neural level, but even then, what's the point of playing a game? I can just do that right now. I can imagine someone standing right here or doing this or doing that. It's just, I don't know.
I think some of the neural processing or AI stuff that we're talking about, everyone's worried about them using AI to create landscapes and characters, and it looks wonky. But having some type of neural processing in a next generation console, which will be in new PCs in the near future, might also unlock when developers make games. I don't know a lot about this, but when they have AI characters walking around a city, they basically give them a set of instructions that they can do, and then they organically randomize it, right? So it kind of gives you the illusion that NPCs are naturally in the world, but neural processing could let them kind of pick and choose on the fly or interact with you on the fly. So if you do something kind of funky, if you play a Rockstar game like Red Dead or Grand Theft Auto, I wonder what happens if I do this, if the world will react or this will fall apart, or, if all the police will come in to the location or whatever. And some of that's pre-programmed, but neural processing in the future means some of that could happen on the fly, the processing goes, oh, this guy just did this one thing, and now we got to do this specific thing because now we're going to react to it. But that's a whole other discussion.
That's a whole other thing. But but you're not wrong. But what happens now, because we are still in a rudimentary level of game development in a way when it comes to being able to meld with our
still last generation sort of kind of
most of these things that you think are spontaneous are incredibly scripted, right? But they just make it look like it's that gives you the illusion that it was very spontaneous or whatever, but it's not. What you did is you triggered something to happen by your foot hit an exact spot on their 3D map, and what happened is that triggers then a sequence of things that happen or sequence of actions that happen, and then you're like, oh wow, that was so cool, this happened, that happened, but it was all scripted, right? But you're absolutely, what you're trying to say is that if you can implement it very soon, and they will with AI or whatever, you're going to have very unpredictable results because it could also be based on your personality, your actions that you take, right? And like the things that you do, maybe it's very similar to example like your algorithms on social media. You look at certain things and you like or whatever, you hit like on this and whatever else. The machine starts to learn what you enjoy and starts to understand your patterns, right? And your actions and stuff like that. And then it may tailor an experience towards that. And that'd be very cool, man. I'm down for that. I know Grandpa Barbecue Cat. I know you're just joking. He's like, I'm just having some fun or whatever. But Shane Stevens, by the way, to answer your question from like an hour ago, when I did cross 1,000 subs, yes, I did. I did have celebratory drinks. I absolutely did. So
it's so cool, bro. Like I told you, when I hit 1,000, it was a big moment. I do not take that lightly. It's even my numbers higher. It doesn't matter when somebody hits 1,000, like when Mag hit 1,000, I'm like, bro, that is the real deal. That is a big deal.
Well, I'm already setting sights on 2,000. So I'm not looking back. I'm just going to keep moving forward and keep pushing, keep going harder. And then I'm going to buy better equipment as time goes on and this and that. And just continue to improve and continue and improve, man. That's all I'm going to do. But I'm never going to stop going out there telling my truth. So
awesome,
anyway,
man.
sorry.
I'm glad, man. Because
derail that. But
I remember when I hit a certain number, someone's like, and on to 1 million. I'm like, I don't know. Even then, like, try to keep a positive attitude, but it's like, Face 23 Book in New York. Thank you so much for the $20 super. What's that?
Wow. No, go.
With the $20 super chat says PSSR is not software. It's hardware-based ML 300 tops, integer 8 or something.
Jesus.
From what I've looked at, it's the PS5 Pro isn't specifically hardware-based machine learning. It doesn't have Tensor Core style machine learning, but and I watched a Digital Foundry video about it today. They're using they're going through the RAM pool, they're feeding through the CPU, the RAM pool, and the GPU. And they're basically like combining all that stuff with software to do machine learning. And I may be wrong on that, but that was like a couple months ago. And I watched that video, and that's how Alex and Oliver were explaining it. So I don't know. When I Googled, does it have hardware-based machine learning? I didn't get that, but technically Xbox Series X has hardware-based machine learning cores and ray tracing cores, but you know, you're only getting a very cursory level of that on the PS5 and Xbox. So I don't know. I'll look into that, Face, and get you a better answer. But when I was looking it up today, I didn't get as clear cut as an answer as that. Sir Riffs a lot. What a great name.
Great name.
I like big riffs. He said, thank you for the $5 super. He says, I know you said Xbox refugees going to PC. I've been wanting to go to PC. I think Xbox might help make that easier. They're going to bridge the divide. Yes, especially with Sir Riff Slot. If you're a console Xbox only guy and you want to go to PC, for the most part, all the games you bought over the past 6 or 8 years are probably available to download the PC version. There's a lot of Play Anywhere titles, so a lot of your stuff comes straight over to PC with your progression and your save and everything. So that's cool. And then just looking into like right now and into the future, of course, everything is going to be similar to what you get on console, just better performance. But yeah, one last one here. Panda Man 77. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Says, hey, Colt Mag, listen to the show every week and wanted to show the love. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. 100%. I appreciate every last person in this chat. Love everybody.
Except
for Magnum. No, man, just kidding.
Just kidding. I just played.
Magnum's my only mod on my channel.
Yeah, I know. It's what again. Shout out to True 77 as well. But
he said something really funny in the chat. Can I read it?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, he says the more flops I see being released, the more I'm like, F it, let AI make games. I can't get any worse than this.
That's kind of true. That is kind of true.
Funny,
there are some games. It's like Elon's like, I'm going to build an AI game studio. It's like that's two things people don't want: Elon making games and then AI haven't done. Then watch him just knock it out of the park, bro. Speaking of Elon Musk, I saw a body kit they sell for the Cybertruck that made it like all cool and like menacing looking almost.
Oh, that's
like a
awesome.
dumpster.
Yeah. I saw one in that had like it looked like hot lava.
Oh,
So
yeah?
it looked like lava rocks. It was wild. I was just like, oh, that's so cool. But the
Shout out
outside
to
is not what I'm
Risk It.
interested in.
Risk It
Oh,
says, do you appreciate me, Mag? Nah, that's so cute. Risk It, we
Oh,
missed
my
you, bro.
God, why is he showing up now? Right at the end of the show.
I sent
Risky,
out the
dude, we had
the
to start
signal.
early, man. We had to start early because well, I literally got in from out of town and came straight down to the Bat Cave, and Colt's got some real life stuff to deal with as well. So
Yeah.
my heart goes out to you. Sorry, you brought up the Elon thing, so it's just
my heart goes out. Oh.
I thought I'd crack a joke. I don't know. I didn't want to see how long it took people to get that.
I was gonna say I didn't have your.
Sorry.
Say I didn't have the live feed to see what you did, but I'm like, pretty sure Mag wouldn't like do what Elon did.
No, I'm not gonna do it on the air. I just thought I'd crack a cryptic joke and see who got it. Anyhow,
like way back in the day on ecstasy, I was trying to raise my hand, but like on camera, I can't get it'll be cut off. So I got it. So my hand was in there, and Gaz's like, you can't do that. And I'm like, oh,
it's like, what did that look like? Yeah. Magnum, stop it, it, Magnum. He's already stoking the fires.
Yeah, he's stoking the flames. Yeah,
he's stoking the flame, not the fires. Yeah, the flames.
The flames of war. Shout out to Risk It. So we covered the controller, which is cool. We covered
Yes.
Did you just play the lasagna clip? It sounded like it.
No. That was my real voice. Sorry, go on.
After all this time, like you're morphing into the Old Country Buffet guy, and you don't even know it.
I know, eh?
We talked about the controller. We talked about the hardware and the AI stuff.
Right.
We talked about the Universal Windows dashboard, the entitlement. That's pretty much it. But Xbox is going to make their own handheld. And I don't want to talk about this too long because I feel like it just kind of, it's so obvious because we talked about what we don't like about a partnered handheld, but the other one, the Xbox handheld, would play your games.
And that makes a lot more sense.
Right.
Like that's something like I just won't even bother. I'm just going to cut you right off.
Yeah.
That makes a lot more sense because then you're offering something that the other products do not offer. So to me, then you look at that and say, okay, this is something that, A and B doesn't do, but C does. Okay, well, now that gives me an incentive to buy if that's what you're looking for. Right. So yeah. I think that makes a hell of a lot more sense than what we talked about the first, hour of the show.
I know. Right? It's like we're just spinning our wheels in the mud. Like, why? Why are you doing this? So here's the other thing. Redundant.
Yeah, redundant.
Digital Foundry talked about a Thunderbolt 5 connector. Love how YouTube just crashes because it uses so much RAM. So dumb. And shout out to my internet for working like the past couple months. And I said, and it just drops. But Digital Foundry said maybe they would have like a Thunderbolt dock with like extra RAM and GPU power. But they don't really know if Xbox would do that, and they think it'd be just a mess. But right. I don't think Xbox is going to allow this handheld to be more powerful when it's docked. I don't think that's really a viable thing, and it barely works on the Switch. But I do think that the Xbox handheld in 2025, the partnered one, I'm going to add this in here. I just thought this just now. That if they're making a partnered Xbox handheld that you and I are like, why? The one thing it needs to launch with is a cradle dock. It needs to come with it, not an optional purchase. It needs to come with a dock that you set that handheld in and you put it into the TV where you play your console games or whatever. Like that would bridge the gap to like, hey, why do I need this? Oh, it's going to give me the TV and the on-the-go experience. And maybe that's a $30 extra purchase, but I think that the next native Xbox handheld in 2027 and this partner one needs to come with a dock no matter what version you buy. And I'll also add that Jez Corden said that the handheld, the native handheld, and the console are both launching the same year. But this is interesting. Tell me what you think of this, Mag. He says he thinks they'll stagger it, like come out with the handheld first and then the console at the end of the year.
In that same year. Isn't that kind of what we kind of heard the same thing, that the handheld is coming first. and then
but
the
like maybe
dedicated
a
box is gonna
6-month
be later
stagger
on.
or something. Like what?
Yeah.
Do you like that?
That's exactly what we. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, you don't want to saturate the market with two products and make people choose at the same time, because then one's definitely going to fall behind, and the other. At least if you give an option, and then all of a sudden, later in the year, people with the money will spend it on both, but they won't spend it on the same day. Right?
Oh
If you
yeah,
buy,
oh
if you put out
absolutely.
one, if you
Yeah.
put one out in January and the next one out in like first week of December or last week of November, you've given people enough of a window where they look at it and say, okay, you know what, yeah, maybe I'll get this or whatever, because everybody's looking for what have you done for me lately, right? Especially when it comes to technology, people are more than happy to dish out their hard-earned cash for more technology. I mean, you see it every day. People are addicted to technology, right? So yeah, you release it at the same time. You're creating a marketing nightmare. It's not worth it. It's not worth it.
But if this thing
And
is
we
like,
heard that anyway.
if this thing's dockable, people who are like, I don't know if I want an Xbox console this generation, they're like, but I like Xbox, and now I have a handheld that also I can just drop in this thing. I don't have to do anything but set it down, and it's on my OLED TV or whatever, and I can just pick up a controller and like that's my console. I don't have to spend the big money to buy the big console. Like I think they could launch them side by side.
Forget it. I
Set
would
it
do it.
the Ron Rotisserie console.
Yeah.
And Fonz in the chat was talking to me, and he was like, "It's such a waste of money for them to make a handheld. He doesn't think it's going to sell very well." But
I don't think it will.
I don't think it will either. But I don't think it matters. I think Xbox is like, we're making hardware. We're going to sell.
Doesn't matter.
We're going to sell some. I saw.
Yeah, but dude, we talked about it. They're not going to sell it for a loss.
Yeah.
So even if they sell 5. They're not losing any money on anything because they're going to make it based on demand. They're going to start with an X amount of. Yeah, go ahead.
Hit the like button if you're enjoying the show. Meg and I we've been working really hard so you guys would have a good show and trying to give you as much information packed in a shorter show. RC Alien Squid in the chat says, imagine capping for haptic feedback. Laugh out loud.
No. He said caping.
Caping. Imagine for the cape. RC Alien Squid, bro. Listen, bro. Let me talk to you. They're gonna do it. The next Xbox console is gonna have haptic feedback on it, and you know what? You're gonna like it. And if you don't, you could turn it off. But
you know why? Because he doesn't play on PlayStation, so he thinks it's trash now, and then it's gonna come out to Xbox and go, "Oh, it's awesome." And I'm like, okay, all right, cool. It was trash last year, but now it's awesome.
I didn't like the rumble triggers on Xbox One. They're better now. They felt like gravel in the when you were they felt like there's gravel in there. I hated it, but it's not capping. Like it's
caping.
It's definitely caping.
Says caping in the chat.
The haptics on a controller are a pretty cool thing, and it's okay if people are excited about that because
I love it.
The DualSense 5 controller sells really well too. So
yeah, it does. Yeah. I have 3 of them. I mean, I had more Xbox controllers than that because they were cheaper. They're expensive. The DualSense 5s are expensive, but I got 3 of them and they're magnificent.
Yeah. Danny Passion official. I interrupted you. Do you remember what you were going to say?
Yeah. I
you were like, if the hardware, you're so smart. Okay, go.
No, what we were talking about is we were talking about how you can't like for example, let's say they launch this not this partnered handheld, their own handheld. Okay. Start with 50,000 units. Start with 100,000 units. I'm just making up a number, okay, guys? I'm not saying that this is fact. I'm just doing just a simple number so we can all, understand the story what we're talking about here. So let's just say 50,000 units. You start with that, and then they sell out of that. Then when they look at pre-orders beyond that, or beyond the pre-orders, then they can project what the next wave of sales might be. They're like, all right, well, we sold X amount here. We think that the next wave of sales will be a little bit higher, so let's produce another 50,000. Right? Or an extra 100,000, whatever else. They're not going to come out of the gate and make 25 million of these things and they're sitting on a shelf doing nothing in a warehouse. Yeah. They're going to do it based on demand, and they're going to charge you appropriate prices that they are not going to lose a penny. In fact, they're going to make money.
This handheld will not be affordable. It will not be affordable.
Nothing going forward. Look at me right here, guys. See this camera? Nothing moving forward is going to be affordable from Sony or Microsoft. It is going to be expensive.
Even Switch is going to be kind of pricey.
I'm still hearing 50-50 on the Switch, but I don't have any reliable sources at Nintendo. But I'm telling you right now, Sony and Microsoft are going to have expensive hardware, And if everybody thought that like the PS5 Pro was just like a one-off, that is the beginning of what to expect. That is the lower echelon of what to expect. Expect higher, because they learned from Apple, and Apple sells billions of products all over the world, and they do not sell at a loss, and that's why they're so goddamn expensive. So, Colt, what are you doing with that thing?
Nothing. I'm listening to you. I was listening.
I didn't see you. I didn't catch you playing with your dolls again, sir. Nice Spaceballs reference. Yeah, buckle this.
Have you seen Employee of the Month with Dane Cook?
Oh my God, yeah.
When his boss is like playing with the two Barbie dolls, and they're two guys, and they start kissing. Oh.
Yeah. That was taken from Spaceballs. Dark Helmet was playing with his dolls. Oh, your helmet is so big. No, yes.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it is. That's total ripoff.
Yeah, that's what it is. No, sorry, I did not see you playing with your dolls again.
I need to watch
they're
that
do
again.
That. I know, it's so good. So that's what they're going to do. They're going to base it on demand. They're not going to lose a penny on it. So if they sell, whatever, they sell the 50,000 units and they don't sell a unit after that, they can wash. They can wash their hands of it. They go, yeah, cool, whatever. It is what it is. We didn't lose any money. Call it a day. And then move on to the next product. Try something else. Try something different. Maybe something more innovative, whatever. They have the options and the space to do that without having to worry about, holy crap, we got 25 million of these Frisbees sitting inside of this factory. What are we going to do with it now? They just became a bunch of paperweights because nobody wants them. Right? So, like,
20 million of those singing fish or whatever they were called. What were those called?
That's right. The singing fish from The Sopranos. So, that's what they're going to do. And that's exactly how they're going to move that product forward. And they're going to do it based on pre-sales and then based on actual customer demand as the product gets out into the wild and into the stores beyond the pre-sales.
Unfortunately, Xbox's approach to hardware would be quite aloof, where they're not going to rely on that or bang every make sure that like drives the business forward. They're going to Meg covers it really well. They're going to hang back and think of it as a bonus for customers because they'll be everywhere. But I hope they still give that care and attention and love to that console.
That's why I said, Colt, that people who are having this, well, I mean, it's not irrational. I shouldn't say that. It's not an irrational fear. It is a rational fear, considering how the hardware sold this year, where a lot of people reach out and they're like, Meg, are they really coming out with another Xbox? I'm a big fan. I really want to, like stay on the ecosystem, whatever else. And I assure people, I'm like, listen, guys, as long as Microsoft is open, they'll have something out there that you'll be able to access your games. So. Yeah. It'll be based on demand, just like I said, and then the price point. But like I said, the price points are not going to be cheap. They're not going to be subsidized, and that's all there is to it. It's take it or leave it, and that's how it's going to be moving forward. Because if you don't pay for it, two guys behind you have their money in their hand waiting to pay for it, and they don't care. That's why people buy $5,000, $10,000 Apple headsets that don't even blink an eye. Didn't sell a lot, but there's still people out there that'll do it. They don't really care because they're not losing anything. But at the end of the day, as long as they have access, that's all that matters.
Yeah, and I also want to add that the hardware will be future ready, but that AI heavy lifting means that the handheld and the console and the PS6 can all be really super capable, but make a little bit more money for the people that make those consoles. So
I mean, they're not going to be making a fortune, but like they're
not going to lose money.
That's all that matters to them, because at the end of the day, they're like, all right, we tried it. Let's try something else, because at least you have the comfort factor of knowing, like, holy crap, all of our jobs are on the line because we have to subsidize these things, and we're going to lose $100 million, and that's a problem. They're not going to do it anymore.
Yeah, and I think you might see something like, let's say they announce, let's pretend it's E3 2026 or E3 2027, and they're like, here's the Xbox hardware, and they're like, the handheld and the console. And then they say $700 for the handheld, $800 for the console. Or maybe it's $200 off, but let me read these super chats, because we're
right. About $700-800.
Yeah.
If not more. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Daddy Passion Official, thanks for the $2, says, Phase 24 doesn't need upscaling to give me 4K or 4060. I don't know if he went to write 4K 60, but Phase 24.
Probably, yeah.
Do you know the Broke Boy Insider? That's Broke Boy Lewis, I think, changed his name.
Yes, it is.
Thank you for the $2 super chat. He says, get it right. It's the Mag Cave, not the Man Cave.
Oh, wow. Thank you very much. Not the Bat Cave. It's the Mag Cave, yes.
Bro, you can make custom neon signs for like $50 or $100. I should look into that. Send one to you. says the Mag Cave. That'd be awesome.
That'd be hilarious.
Put it back there. Let me see.
But I have to be wearing a mask that I can't turn my neck. So when you talk to me, I have to go like this.
With the bullet nipples.
Yeah, with the bullet nipples. Yeah. And the Batman and Robin George Clooney cod piece. I need that as well.
Oh gosh, just makes me happy. KY Bob, who's a channel member forever, says, Colt, my friend, and Mag, my dog, spitting facts on a Monday. Everyone hit the like button. Been a channel member for a long time. He says, well worth it. For 64 months, he's been around. And we were talking last week. I was helping him set up stuff on his podcast. Check him out. They're on GameSit Live. They're awesome. We got Danny Passion Official says, with the $2 super chat, Phase 24, my PC doesn't need upscaling to do 4K 60. Yeah, I think I got it in there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. There you go.
We appreciate you guys. It's been a crazy show. Got a lot of things to do. Got to eat dinner and go watch my son play in a band. They're really good. They're great. He's
awesome.
He's in 8th grade, and they sound fantastic. So, Meg, it's been awesome.
Always encourage art and live music. Always live music. Because a lot of people are losing focus. Yeah, well, technology's pulling a lot of people away from that kind of stuff, right? Yeah. So it's great to see that. Live performances, bands, music, classical music, symphonies, whatever you could do, man, get out there and go do it. You want to paint, go paint. You want to be on the stage, go do stage. You want to do Broadway, you want to do stage plays, whatever you want to do, go out there and
you want to go do gaming news on your channel called The Mag Show. Go do that and go sub to them.
Go do that too, man. But support the arts. And hey, you know what? YouTube is an art form as well, man. So, support the arts, ladies and gentlemen.
Look at the freaking community message here. The more you know from Mag. Bro, thanks so much. It's been a really good show. This is XNC episode 191. We are coming up in a couple months, we'll be on the 4-year anniversary. Oh, man. It's been great having you here. And we'll be back next week with our sponsor and everything.
Yes, we will.
Like that. Mag, tell everybody where to find you.
Yes.
Tell them where to get that link to your channel, and we'll get out of here.
Yeah. Well, the link's already in the channel. Yodani Kazada is already on top of it. Thank you so much. You can go check out the Mag Show. My latest video, I talked about the Gears of War collection. I got some more details about release dates and anything. Go check it out. I got my reviews up for Daredevil Born Again, episodes 1 and 2. I did a breakdown of both episodes. I try to keep it brief. There are spoilers in there, so be aware. I will be doing weekly reviews. I'm going to be getting back on the live stream bandwagon as well. So this week I'll be playing, starting tomorrow, I will be playing It Takes Two. I'll be playing Split Fiction this week as well. I'm going to be doing some more gaming with my wife. We just got to wrap up a Space Marine 2. And so, yeah, man. And then, of course, any news drops or anything comes across my plate, you want to hear it first? Come to the Mag Show, because that's really where you hear a lot of it first. And a lot of people say that too in the chat. They're like, dude, in the comments, are like, you really were the first person to say this and that a while ago. And yeah, man, it's great time. I'm having a lot of fun doing it, and I really love all the support. So anyways, Colt, you got one more.
Thank you for watching.
Just came in from Scott Gamer Dude, and everybody have a great night.
Yeah, thank you so much. Scott Gamer Dude with a 5 says, Colt, you have any videos of you playing guitar, or are those guitars just for show? I do, but you have to find my music channel. That's all I'll say. I put out one. I showcased the MXR 100 Rockman pedal.
There you go.
I'm learning how to play them, but whatever. But yeah,
groovy.
Once you find that, you can check it out. But it's not under my name. But anyway, thank you guys so much. Keep an eye out on Tuesday on Twitter or my channel, and I'll have the reveal of what game I am going to play and where I'm going and who I'll hopefully be hanging out with on Tuesday and Wednesday. So thanks, everybody. We're going to get out of here. Have a good night. Hit the like button on the way out. Send a comment after the video is up telling us who your favorite musician or band or music group is. After we get off the live, you'll be able to put that comment there and it'll stay forever. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you. Mag, you're the best. You suck. See you. Bye.
Have a great night.